Welcome back to PandaAudioBooks. Jian Wushuang has achieved an earth-shattering breakthrough, and now, the small world can no longer hold him. In our last episode, Wushuang emerged from the Forbidden Heritage Site fundamentally transformed, a true prodigy ready for continental competition. Today, the genius enters the world stage. Chapters 51 through 55 thrust Wushuang into a massive new environment. He learns of a grand, regional genius competition and immediately sets out on a long journey to a new, powerful domain. The stakes are immense, drawing the finest young cultivators from across the continent. Wushuang must prove his newfound, overwhelming strength against rivals who previously considered themselves untouchable. The continent awaits the emergence of the true sword god. Chapter 51 begins now. Chapter 51. The First Interspatial Ring. In the Qianhuan sect. Kai. A long spear stabbed through the throat of a Qianhuan sect disciple without making a sound. Then, with an abrupt sweep, it heavily hacked towards two more disciples, making them step back. If you don't want to be killed, then leave. Yin Minute, a nifty girl with a long spear in her hands, wore a cold expression while criticizing them. However, several Qianhuan sect disciples ignored her words and lunged at her, immediately attacking with their knives and swords. Kill them, Yin Minute said in a cold voice. A flash of coldness appeared in the eyes of Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao, but suddenly, a cold voice and three auras rushed into the battle. These cultivators were stronger than previous Qianhuan sect disciples. 3 people at the level of exceptional spiritual C. The arrival of these 3 caused Jian Wushuang's expression to change. Since they came to the Qianhuan sect, they had encountered 3 groups of Qianhuan sect disciples who just reached the level of profound spiritual C realm and the initial realm. They had yet to encounter a single disciple at the exceptional spiritual C realm, not to mention encountering 3 of them at the same time. You too, protect yourselves, Yin Minute said in a low voice. Then, the long spear in her hands danced through the air like flashing stars and drifting snow as it struck towards 2 of the disciples at the exceptional spiritual C realm. Hauzi, mouse, leave the exceptional spiritual C realm disciple to me. As for the others, it's up to you to handle them, Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. Yes, Ling Qianhao said and nodded. Although he had to fight against several Qianhuan sect disciples at the same time, these disciples were only at the level of profound spiritual C realm or initial spiritual C realm and were no threat to him. Those 3 at the exceptional spiritual C realm that could threaten him had been blocked by Yin Minute and Jian Wushuang. How dare you 2 guys blocked me? Yin Minute laughed loudly and then she furiously hacked towards the 2 people at exceptional spiritual C realm with a long red spear, blasting them with hazy spear shadows. Both of them realized how ruthless and tyrannical Yin Minute was as they fended her off with all their strength. However, they were no match for Yin Min's spear skills. Though fighting against 2 enemies, Yin Minute still gained the upper hand. Be careful, she is strong, said a person at exceptional spiritual C realm, seriously. She is only at the level of exceptional spiritual C realm. Why should we be afraid of her when we have a 2-to-1 advantage? Let's kill her. The other one sniffed and then they lunged at Yin Minute again. A giant axe was shown in front of Yin Minute and hacked towards her. Meanwhile, a flash of dark gold sword light appeared in front of Yin Minute, traveling 10 meters in an instant. How ridiculous! Yin Minute laughed as the look in her eyes abruptly turned cold. Divine spear of dripping blood. Clang, clang, clang. 2 flashes of spear shadow struck out successively, faster than those 2 people expected. And then, those 2 flashes of spear shadow stabbed into the area between the eyebrows of both disciples, immediately killing them. Good girl. Yin Minute has a good command of her spearmanship. Jian Wushuang was still fighting with the other disciple at exceptional spiritual C realm. But he saw everything that happened, especially when Yin Minute killed other 2 disciples at exceptional spiritual C realm on her own. It seems that I should also show a little bit of my ability. Jian Wushuang smiled faintly while looking at his enemy. Only Jian Wushuang could hear his light voice. The disciple at exceptional spiritual C realm saw a flash of cold sword light in front of him, rapidly approaching his eyes. It was too fast for him to resist, quickly piercing through his throat. Meanwhile, Ling Qianhao also defeated his enemies. Swordsman, not bad. How did you kill someone at exceptional spiritual sea realm on your own? Yin Minute asked while looking at Jian Wushuang with startled eyes. Ha ha. I just have a good luck, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Really? Yin Minute raised her eyebrow but didn't continue asking. Go and see if any of them have an interspatial ring, said Yin Minute. It only took a moment for Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao to check them. No. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Nothing here either. Ling Qianhao also shook his head. It seems that we really have bad luck. We have killed so many Qianhuan sect's disciples, even 3 people at exceptional spiritual sea realm, but we still didn't find an interspatial ring, Yin Minute said with a wry smile. Peng! Suddenly, a wall on the perimeter of the courtyard shattered as a pitiful figure heavily landed on the ground. It was a white-haired old man, who vomited a mouthful of blood after falling on the ground. Then, he stood up and immediately tried to escape. Where are you trying to escape to? 4 figures appeared behind the white-haired old man, chasing after him. Jian Wushuang had seen these 4 people receive the Golden Dragon Guard task together with him. Jian Wushuang's group of 3 felt surprised when they saw these 4 people chasing the white-haired old man who wore a lilac ring on his right ring finger. That's an interspatial ring. He has an interspatial ring. Let's do it. Without any hesitation, all 3 rushed in front of the white-haired old man, among whom Yin Minute arrived first. She ruthlessly struck out with the long spear as if trying to pierce through everything in the world. What? The white-haired old man had already encountered a major battle that left him seriously injured, but now he was being chased by 4 people. He was already in a desperate situation and he didn't expect to encounter even more people from the Golden Dragon Palace. The white-haired old man felt hopeless when he saw the ruthless spear stabbing towards him. Kai! The spear stabbed through the white-haired old man. Then the spear cut off his right ring finger and made it fly up. Yin Minute reached out to grasp the amputated finger and the lilac ring on it as it fell directly into her hand. The first interspatial ring. Seeing this, both Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao smiled. However, on the other side, the expressions of the 4 people who had chased the white-haired old man before suddenly turned dark. Hand over the ring. That interspatial ring belongs to us. Don't speak nonsense. Kill her immediately. Boom. 4 figures tried to kill Yin Minute at the same time. Sh*T. The complexions of both Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao changed. Although they had known that they might need to kill people from their own side during the task, they didn't expect these people to attack without any hesitation. Chapter 52. Stealing benefits from others. Get out of here. Seeing those 4 people rushing towards her, Yin Minute angrily howled and raised the red long spear up high, hacking towards them with amazing power. The heavy spear shadow immediately swept towards those 4 people. What? Those 4 people changed their faces while resisting Yin Min's spear. Then, the 4 people were knocked back over 10 meters by Yin Minute before they regained their footing. Whoosh! Whoosh! Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao immediately appeared beside Yin Minute. Do you want to kill people on your own side? Jian Wushuang said in a cold voice. That interspatial ring should have belonged to us, but you guys snatched it. Those 4 people all had grim expressions as a burly man, the leader of them, growled, if you guys are wise, then hand over the interspatial ring or we'll. Otherwise. Yin Minute sneered and said, more than 30 people received the task, but only 10 interspatial rings exist. That means most of the people can't complete the task. This is a competition between us and the interspatial ring is in my hand. If you want to grab it, just come try. But who will get the ring hasn't been decided yet. Those 4 burly men felt unpleasant. They had just fought with Yin Minute and realized that Yin Min's strength was stronger than any of them. Even killing 2 of them on her own was a piece of cake. Besides her, there were Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao. They would probably suffer if they fought with them. Let's go. The burly man snorted and then those 4 people reluctantly left. Jian Wushuang and other 2 couldn't help laughing when they saw the group leaving. It's lucky for them to leave, otherwise it's possible 1 or 2 of them would be killed by me and Swordsman, not to mention Sister Yin. Fighting against 3 on her own is no problem at all, Ling Qianhao said with a smile. Fighting against 3 on my own? Yin Minute shook her head and said, you think too highly of me. Those who dare to receive a Golden Dragon Guard task are stronger than we imagine. Fighting 2 is possible, but 3 is not realistic. All right. Don't talk about it anymore. We have been fighting for a long time. Now we finally have an interspatial ring. Give this one to me, and if we obtain more interspatial ring, they will belong to you too. How's it? Yin Minute turned to Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao. No problem, Jian Wushuang said and nodded. Of course I agree, replied Ling Qianhao with a smile. It was obvious that Yin Minute was the biggest contributor to the battle. She was also the oldest among them, so giving the first ring to her was only proper. Okay, let's go on. It hasn't been long since the slaughter started, so we have many opportunities to find more interspatial rings, Yin Minute said. Yes. Both Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao agreed and nodded. The slaughter in the Qianhuan sect continued, becoming even crazier as time passed. Jian Wushuang and other 2 had already been in the Qianhuan sect for an hour. Ah! Jian Wushuang and other 2 suddenly looked up from the corridor and saw a fierce battle ahead of them. There were 2 sides in the battle. One side, disciples of the Qianhuan sect, and on the other side, their acquaintances that also came for the Golden Dragon Palace task. It's those 4, Jian Wushuang said. Those people fighting against the Qianhuan sect disciples were the stout man and his 3 companions that they had just met. The first interspatial ring Yin Minute got was from them. They are in a bad situation, Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. They could clearly see that those 4 people were in a bad situation because over 20 Qianhuan sect disciples were fighting against them. Among them were 5 disciples at exceptional spiritual sea realm. These 4 guys are really unlucky. It's unbelievable they were attacked by so many Qianhuan sect disciples, Yin Minute said and sneered. Look! Sister Yin and Swordsman, that man's right hand. Ling Qianhao suddenly exclaimed. Jian Wushuang and Yin Minute looked in the direction Ling Qianhao pointed. They saw a Qianhuan sect disciple at exceptional spiritual sea realm wearing a lilac ring on his right index finger. An interspatial ring, Yin Minute felt surprised and said, ha ha, the second interspatial ring has appeared. Let's do it. First, we'll join hands with those 4 men to kill the Qianhuan sect disciples, then we grab the interspatial ring. Yes. Both Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao agreed and nodded. The 3 of them immediately rushed into the battle. 3 more bastards. Kill them. The Qianhuan sect disciples were crazy with bloodlust, immediately attacking Jian Wushuang and the other 2 as soon as they saw them. The pressure on the other 4 who had been under siege this whole time was suddenly reduced by a large amount. It's them. The stout man changed his face after seeing Jian Wushuang and quickly said, Run. We should get away while the Qianhuan sect disciples are fighting with them. What? The other 3 men froze. Why should we leave? If we join hands with them, it is completely possible to kill all these Qianhuan sect disciples and grab the interspatial ring, a purple-dressed woman asked. Our alliance surely can kill all of the Qianhuan sect disciples. But after that, can we get the interspatial ring? Don't forget that Yin Minute just defeated us on her own. There is also Swordsman and that Ling Qianhao who has reached the exceptional spiritual sea realm. We are no match for them at all if we fight against them, the stout man said with a chilly expression. Instead of joining hands with them and then letting them take the interspatial ring, it would be better leave now and observe them secretly. After they finish the life and death struggle against the Qianhuan sect disciples, we can show up and obtain the ring without any effort. Good idea. Both sides will suffer great losses in such a fierce battle. Whoever wins the battle will be weakened, and then we can easily defeat either side at that time. I agree too. The other 3 soon agreed with the stout man. Chapter 53. Jian Wushuang showing his strength. Since all of you have agreed, let's go, said the sturdy man, as a chilling smile appeared on his face. Then he quickly turned around and disappeared into the corridor with his companions, leaving Jian Wushuang and the other two to fight with the pack of Qianhuan sect disciples. Bastards! Damn it! Seeing that, Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao cursed in rage with a peevish expression on their faces. This is troublesome. Jian Wushuang also felt a little worried. Including those four, along with Jian Wushuang, Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao, if these 7 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm Masters fought together, they would easily defeat these Qianhuan sect disciples. However, with those 4 leaving, the remaining 3 had to fight with 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples, a dozen profound spiritual Sea Realm and initial spiritual Sea Realm Qianhuan sect disciples. The situation was instantly at its worst. Ha, your companions seem to have abandoned you. Poor guys, prepare to get trashed. All the disciples of the Qianhuan sect laughed at Jian Wushuang and the other 2, lunging at them directly. Swordsman, Haozi, Mouse, let's fight. Yin Minute shouted to Jian Wushuang and desperately rushed into the battlefield. I'll take 3 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples. I'll count on you to handle the rest too, several profound spiritual Sea Realm and initial realm disciples, Yin Minute said in a deep voice. It was her ultimate limit to fight with 3 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples at the same time. Let me take these 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples. Jian Wushuang's words surprised Yin Minute. Before she could reply, Jian Wushuang ran in front of her with amazing speed and collided with the Qianhuan sect disciples. Whoosh! Suddenly a bright dazzling sword light swept across the 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples simultaneously. What? How dare he fight with all 5 of us at the same time? He must be suicidal. Kill him. Those 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples became furious and lunged towards Jian Wushuang. But when the dazzling sword light swept, zooming, the horrible sword essence rose suddenly and sharply. Watch out! The 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples hurriedly changed from attack to defense. But when they came into contact with the sword light, these 5 figures fell back with 5 loud thumps. Shoop! 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 The wild sword shadows almost instantaneously spurted from Jian Wushuang's hands. The amazing speed of Aurora swordsmanship had soared to an incredible level ever since Jian Wushuang comprehended the sword essence of Gale. It's so fast. Amazing! Be careful! The Qianhuan disciples shouted with voices full of fear. Although the 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples tried their best to withstand the sword shadows were too fast and arrived too quickly. Even though the sword shadows swept to 5 of them at the same time, it was still too fast to resist. Clang! 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 The sounds of clanks were heard one after another. The 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples were hit by dozens of sword attacks, and 3 of them seemed to be unable to parry. Beep! A sword flash swept towards the throat of those 3 disciples. Kai! The 3 figures immediately fell backward. Damn it! Run! Seeing that, the Qianhuan sect disciples began escaping crazily with almost no hesitation. The 2 remaining exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples also lost the courage to fight with Jian Wushuang. The only thing they could do was run. He's too strong. Even with 5 of us together, his swordsmanship was so fast that he killed 3 of us in the blink of an eye. We'll all die here if we do not run. The 2 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples were aware of the insurmountable gap between Jian Wushuang and them. Naturally, they did not dare to fight with Jian Wushuang anymore. Run! A cold voice without a hint of emotion rang out near one of the exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples. The disciple raised his head in horror, only to find Jian Wushuang standing in front of him and the triple kill sword stuck in him. No! The disciple only had time to make an unwilling roar before he was immediately killed. You are the owner of the interspatial ring. I can't let you get away from me. After killing the exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciple, Jian Wushuang grinned and took the interspatial ring off the disciple's finger. As for the Qianhuan sect disciples that escaped, Jian Wushuang was not in the mood to chase after them. Swordsman! Swordsman! Jian Wushuang turned his head, finding Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao with stunned expressions on their faces that were hard to describe. Jian Wushuang stroked his nose and then laughed in his sleeve. Last time, he deliberately lost to Dongfang Yu so he would not stand out, making people think he was weak. And during the mission this time, he still hadn't found a good chance to prove his ability because of Yin Minute. He had finally reached the point where he could not hide it anymore. His strength shocked Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao. Jian Wushuang killed 4 real exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples in an instant. What kind of strength was that? Yin Minute knew that if she fought against 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples, she could barely resist for a while before eventually losing. In the end, she would die even if she killed 1 of 2 of them by risking her life. Which meant that Jian Wushuang's strength was much more tremendous than hers. Ha ha, Swordsman, I admire you so much. When Ling Qianhao regained himself, he laughed and gave Jian Wushuang a bear hug. Swordsman, you hid your strength this whole time? Yin Minute asked seriously. Yes, Jian Wushuang said and nodded. There was no sense in denying it now. You fought with 5 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples on your own and killed 4 of them in a short time. This level of strength is not something me or Dongfang you can compare with. Swordsman, you disguised yourself pretty well, Yin Minute said with a smile. The 4 who abandoned Jian Wushuang, Yin Minute, and Ling Qianhao, gloating as they were surrounded by the Qianhuan sect disciples, were still very close. They were hiding in a room near the courtyard and heard everything Jian Wushuang and Yin Minute said. Chapter 54, Haunting Like a Ghost. You'll see, even though Yin Minute boasts immense strength, there is a large number of Qianhuan sect disciples at the level of profound spiritual Sea Realm and initial realm, as well as 5 disciples at exceptional spiritual Sea Realm. This kind of battle will definitely make them suffer, the stout man said gloatingly. But only a short while later they saw Jian Wushuang kill 4 of the exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples swiftly and cruelly, while the remaining Qianhuan sect disciples fled. The 4 of them were stunned. It's impossible. Unbelievable. That swordsman, how could he be so strong? I can't believe that he killed 4 exceptional spiritual Sea Realm disciples in such a short time. How could that happen? The 4 of them felt it was impossible. Meanwhile, they recalled the words they heard in Golden Dragon's subsidiary palace. It was about Dongfang Yu defeating Jian Wushuang in only 3 moves. Today we personally witnessed Swordsman's strength. How was it possible that he couldn't resist Dongfang Yu? You must be kidding me. I would rather believe that Dongfang Yu was defeated by him in 3 moves, roared the stout man. How could his incredible strength be overcome by Dongfang Yu in 3 moves? That was ridiculous. It is a relief that we didn't have a real conflict with them, or... The stout man spoke in a relaxing tone. He counted himself fortunate to have never turned against Yin Minute, even when she took interspatial ring away from him. He felt terrified when he thought of Jian Wushuang's immense power. Go! Be quick! The stout man roared. We should keep away from these 3 people until the mission is finished. All in all, we used them just now, and they might hold a grudge against us. I'm afraid that they will fight against us next time. Go! Hurry up! The others nodded and intended to escape in panic. Hey, do you see that? Said the woman in purple. The strong man turned his head at once. Suddenly his expression became weird. It's them. It's Dongfang Yu and his followers. They arrived just now and met Swordsman just in time. The 4 were just about ready to leave, but at this moment their steps suddenly stopped. On the corridor, Jian Wushuang and his companions also noticed Dongfang Yu and his followers. It's Dongfang Yu. Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao glanced at Jian Wushuang with queer complexions. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and smiled slightly but said nothing. Dongfang Yu, you are like a ghost, constantly haunting us, Yin Minute said in a cold voice and cast a glance towards Dongfang Yu. Yin Minute, I'm surprised that the 2 trash following you are still alive. Lucky guys. Dongfang Yu appeared in front of them, speaking with an arrogant voice. Let's get to the point. Yin Minute, since you guys have been in the Qianhuan sect for a while now, I bet you have an interspatial ring, right? Interspatial ring. Yin Minute said with a sneer. Then she stretched out her right hand as a light purple ring shined dazzlingly on her 4th finger. Here it is. If you want it, come and take it." At the sight of the interspatial ring on Yin Min's hand, the eyes of the 5 people behind Dongfang Yu brightened and a flash of heat appeared in their eyes. "Oh, you really do have one. But only one ring." Dongfang Yu sneered at her and turned his head to his 5 followers. Then he said, "Let's go." The people following Dongfang Yu hesitated, but eventually they left with him. However, Dongfang Yu glanced at Jian Wushuang and Ling Qianhao as he left and said in a low voice, "You two trash are very lucky to have Yin Minute as your pillar. But there are only 10 interspatial rings. Even I only managed to get one of them. How dare you expect to get them?" Dongfang Yu left once he finished speaking. What a contemptuous look. "But he would never think that our swordsman has the 2nd interspatial ring," Ling Qianhao said before pursing his lips. "I'm surprised he didn't bother us. That was my fault. I should have given the ring to you, Haozi, mouse." If Dongfang Yu knew an interspatial ring was in your hands, he would definitely try to take it from you without hesitation. She was definitely hoping to see Dongfang Yu try to take the ring just now. If he had started a fight, Jian Wushuang would have instantly given him a lesson. But Dongfang Yu had no desire to snatch the interspatial ring when he saw that it was in her possession. Things would totally change if the interspatial ring was Ling Qianhao's. "Haozi, mouse, the 2nd interspatial ring, it's yours." Jian Wushuang gave the ring to Ling Qianhao. "Swordsman, what happened to you?" Ling Qianhao looked at Jian Wushuang in astonishment, instead of accepting the ring. "I need you two to do me a favor." Jian Wushuang said directly. "How can we help you?" Yin Minute also turned to face him. "See this attic?" Jian Wushuang stared at the attic beside him and said with a smile, "I want to cultivate alone in this attic with no interruptions, so I need you two to safeguard me." "Cultivate? You want to cultivate now?" Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao both felt astonished. "Did you have a breakthrough?" Yin Minute asked spontaneously. "Yes," Jian Wushuang said and nodded. "Really?" Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao were both surprised. They believed the fighting capacity of Jian Wushuang was already incredible among people in the spiritual sea realm. If he made a breakthrough, he would probably reach the gold core. Primordial gold core, a level they hoped to reach someday. "I need some time to cultivate, but I don't know how long I will need. Maybe our mission will finish before I'm done with my cultivation. So the 2nd interspatial ring naturally belongs to you, Haozi, mouse. After all, it's your last chance to attempt the Golden Dragon Guard mission. If you fail, you will never be able to become a Golden Dragon Guard for the rest of your life." "But it's not the same for me," Jian Wushuang said while smiling. "I see," Ling Qianhao understood, so he nodded his head with a smile and said, "Thanks a lot. You can count on us to guard this area. We won't let anyone disturb you." "Thanks," said Jian Wushuang. Then he smiled and went straight into the attic. Yin Minute and Ling Qianhao stood guard in front of the attic. The stout man and his companions witnessed it all because they were still near the courtyard. What is Swordsman doing? Why did he go into the attic? Did he suddenly comprehend something? Is he going to make a breakthrough? Will he reach the gold core? Their complexions became uneasy. The strength of Jian Wushuang was already so terrifying. What kind of level would he reach after he made a breakthrough? Don't mind what he does. From now on, if we meet the 3 of them, we turn round immediately, the stout man said and left with the others in a hurry. Chapter 55. Breakthrough into the Ultimate Spiritual Sea. It was true Jian Wushuang was about to achieve a breakthrough, but not in the way that Yin Minute and the others thought he would. The breakthrough was not into the gold core, but the spiritual sea realm. No one knew that Jian Wushuang, who could easily kill an expert that had achieved the exceptional spiritual sea realm, had not even entered the realm yet. He sat cross-legged inside the attic, where a boundless spiritual power was beginning to come together inside his body. Having reached the top of the 9th heaven of divine path 3 months ago, his breakthrough would happen at any given time. Earlier, while fighting 3 experts of the exceptional spiritual sea realm, he unexpectedly noticed signs that his spiritual power was about to break through. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for a breakthrough. Naturally, he did not dare to make any delays. Others are in the realm of spiritual sea, but I'm in the ultimate spiritual sea. Jian Wushuang smiled. In the first place, the heavenly creation skill was heaven-defying cultivation method. Cultivating the skill was an act in defiance of the natural order. With every step, he was defying nature and becoming extraordinary. Ordinary martial arts who cultivated the spirit path were in the spiritual realm of 7 realms of spirit steps. Martial artists cultivating the heavenly creation skill, on the other hand, was in the 9 heavens of divine path. The typical warrior would be in the spiritual sea from spiritual power, while those who cultivated the heavenly creation skill would break through into the ultimate spiritual sea. I wonder what's the so-called expansion of the ultimate spiritual sea. Jian Wushuang felt excited. Inside him, his condensed spiritual power was charging at the barrier of his breakthrough, crashing into it. The spiritual power only made impact several times for breaking the barrier. The rest of his spiritual power instantly flowed into all his tendons and vessels. Here came the ultimate spiritual sea. He finally understood the ultimate spiritual sea really was after the breakthrough. It's the amount of spiritual power. I've only broken through into the spiritual sea realm, but there's so much more spiritual power in my body. I'd say it's 10 times more than the ordinary spiritual sea realm warrior. Surprise crossed his face. Compared with the spiritual sea from spiritual power of ordinary warriors, the spiritual power of ultimate spiritual sea is vaster. The spiritual sea realm was divided into 3 levels, namely the initial, profound, and exceptional realm. There would be a vast improvement in spiritual power in every level advancement. But it was a different story for ultimate spiritual sea. Instead of having the profound realm and initial realm stages, the ultimate spiritual sea had 3 levels that increased the amount of spiritual power with each advancement. Now that Jian Wushuang had entered the first level of the ultimate spiritual sea, his spiritual power was 10 times the amount of spiritual sea realm warrior. In stage 2 of the ultimate spiritual sea, his spiritual power would be 100 times the amount of spiritual sea realm warriors. If he reached stage 3, then his spiritual power could be described as truly endless. The amount of spiritual power available should not be taken lightly. Warriors need a strong foundation of spiritual power whether to fight with others or display their martial arts. If they exhaust their spiritual power from a prolonged battle or tricky martial arts, they could only wait to be killed. And what did an endless spiritual power meant? That meant if he was fighting someone of a similar strength, he could rely on his endless spiritual power to prolong the battle and wait for his opponent to exhaust his own. This was truly an unbelievably strong advantage. However, through all 3 levels of the ultimate spiritual sea, only the amount of spiritual power would increase and not strengthen itself. That was to say, his spiritual force outbreak would remain consistent throughout. This was unlike ordinary spiritual sea realm warriors who would see a great improvement in their spiritual power outbreak with each level breakthrough. But that did not bother Jian Wushuang. It's only normal that spiritual power outbreak doesn't improve. After all, his spiritual power outbreak was already comparable to that of the exceptional spiritual sea realm when he was at the peak of the 9th heaven of divine path. If his spiritual power increased to its peak after achieving the final level of the ultimate spiritual sea, could anyone still survive after fighting him? My spiritual power outbreak. He closed his eyes and made a fist. He felt the explosive power in his hand, experiencing a far stronger energy than he had ever felt. A smile came to his face. I've now broken through into the ultimate spiritual sea. Though I won't see any improvements in my spiritual power outbreak in the 2nd and 3rd stage in the future, my current spiritual power outbreak is now good enough to surpass an expert of the gold core realm. He was only in the 1st level of the ultimate spiritual sea, yet he had spiritual power outbreak of a primordial gold core. His spiritual power, in particular, surpassed that of ordinary spiritual sea realm warriors. This was the ultimate cultivation of the sky after the expansion of the ultimate spiritual sea. Just as Jian Wushuang was marveling at his breakthrough, something else was going on in the underground secret chamber of the Qianhuan sect. Shadows wrapped in black robes appeared one after another. The screams above are getting fainter. Looks like the fighting is coming to an end in the Qianhuan sect, a man with silver mask said. The warriors of the Golden Dragon Palace have been fighting above for nearly 2 hours, enough time for them to wipe out the entire sect twice. Most spiritual Sea Realm warriors of the Qianhuan sect had already been slaughtered. Most who remained had already fled, with only a handful still scattered in the corners of the sect. Basically, the fight was about to be over very soon. But just then, something happened. Boom! The door to the secret room was kicked open, followed by the sound of hearty laughter. Ha ha! I didn't expect there's a secret room inside the Qianhuan sect. What's in this room? All the robed men inside the secret room instantly became cold when they heard the laughter. The door of the secret room opened and 4 shadows stepped one after another. If Jian Wushuang were here, he would definitely recognize them at a glance, for they were the ones who had framed him in the past. The minute the 4 men stepped into the secret room, the 9 robed men all glared at them with a deadly coldness. The silver-masked man's gaze was even more severe, piercing enough to stab a human heart like a sword. Oh! Feeling the glares of the robed men, the 4 men seemed like their hearts had momentarily stopped beating. That stout man opened his mouth, wanting to say something. But in that instant, the silver-masked man instantly disappeared. When he reappeared again, he was already standing behind the stout man. The stout man's eyes rounded. He felt a warm sensation in his throat and found only gushing warm blood when he touched his throat. Thud! The 4 intruders collapsed on the ground. The silver-masked man suddenly spoke, his cold voice reverberating inside the secret room. Since we're already exposed, there's no longer any need to hide. Follow me and just kill our way out. I'd like to see who dare stop me. And with that shocking display in the initial trials, we conclude Chapter 55. Wu Shuang has not only arrived at the continental competition but has immediately established himself as the dark horse, leaving the established geniuses reeling in disbelief. His power level is clearly far beyond what anyone expected from a mere academy disciple. The trials are just beginning. The true continental elites, the supreme geniuses, are now watching him closely. Join us next time for chapters 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60, as Wu Shuang faces off directly against the region's absolute top competitors and dives deeper into the secrets and conspiracies tied to this grand event. Thank you for listening to Panda Audiobooks. If you are ready for the ultimate showdown, please subscribe and hit that notification bell.